It is October 26th, 2024. The Bitcoin price is $66,783 per coin. Today, I would like to talk about why Bitcoin is valuable. I want to make this a multi-part series, but wanted to begin here. One of the reasons that Bitcoin is valuable is that it provides stability and immutability in a world of monetary expansion, dilution, and debasement. Even if demand remains constant and does not increase, at least a portion of any newly printed money will flow into Bitcoin, thereby raising the price, since the max supply can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. There is only around 6% of the Bitcoin supply that has yet to be mined, meaning that most of Bitcoin is already held by individuals all around the world who are unlikely to sell unless the price goes up drastically. Another reason why Bitcoin is valuable is that it doesn't seem to be going away. However, to a majority of people, it is not a foregone conclusion that Bitcoin will be here in 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, or even 100 years. I believe this makes Bitcoin a big opportunity because it is not a foregone conclusion for most people that it will be here in the future. Compare that to, say, Apple stock, Microsoft, or even gold, where the world has seemingly agreed that these things have value in the trillions of dollars. In its early days, Bitcoin could have been stopped by an eager government. However, now it is far too powerful as a computing network and far too decentralized for this to happen. As long as governments continue to print money, that money will flow into assets. Bitcoin having a fixed supply makes it one of the hardest things to create more of. The US dollar can be printed out of nowhere for no marginal cost, and Bitcoin, the amount of new supply coming in and created and mined, is decreasing by 50% every 4 years. Earlier this year, we saw the Bitcoin block reward decrease by 50%. I think it's around 3.125 Bitcoin mined every 10 minutes now. This used to be 6.25, if I'm not mistaken. Might be off a little bit there, but in that range. In the next halving around 2028, we'll see the Bitcoin block reward go down to less than 2 Bitcoin for every 10 minutes. And in 2032, this will lower even further, and eventually less and less Bitcoin will be produced using more and more computing power. More and more money will continue to be printed. Bitcoin will become more and more scarce as we see adoption by corporations, countries, wealthy individuals, and ordinary people all around the world protecting their value that they've earned and preventing this from being diluted and debased by governments. Those who can print money will always have the advantage as they have access to this money first. And Bitcoin really just flips this all on its head. I think the opportunity of Bitcoin is that most people don't believe that it's valuable. Most people, if you talk to finance bros or professional, professionals in finance, they'll laugh at Bitcoin, even though it's outperformed largely, has no carrying expense if you hold in a cold storage wallet. I think the opportunity with Bitcoin is that most people just sleep on it. I think if people did their research, I think if people did, as many people say around, 100 hours say, um, even just looking at it with an open mind for an hour, I think it just solves a lot of the problems people have. And I think it's just extremely undervalued at this price. Bitcoin cannot be split, adjusted like a stock. People may be turned off to investing in Bitcoin because they see the price is $66,783 per coin, and they may see a different cryptocurrency at say 10 cents, and they can get, you know, however many they like. They think they have unit bias. Bitcoin's valuable because it had no value in the beginning. And Bitcoin's price goes up exponentially. It crashes. People declare that Bitcoin is dead. Bitcoin comes back every single time and has rallied to new heights and has crashed and again recovered. And even this year in March, after the ETFs, we reached new heights at about $73,800 per coin. We crashed to around $49,000 just a few months ago, and now we're creeping up back towards all-time highs. And I just don't think that this is going to stop. Bitcoin is valuable because no one needs permission to purchase Bitcoin, to send Bitcoin, and I think eventually, as there's more and more money printing, as long as governments continue spending irresponsibly, it just makes sense to have Bitcoin, something that could potentially outperform the rate of inflation. Many of these other assets either don't, or there are too many risk factors associated with them. Everyone in Bitcoin is incentivized to keep the network honest. And it is really just such a paradigm shift to what anything we've ever seen. And we as humans just don't really know how to put a price on this. But we have gone from a Bitcoin price of less than a penny all the way up to almost $74,000. And I just don't see I just don't see a world where the Bitcoin price stays here or goes and stays lower. I believe as more and more individuals adopt Bitcoin, they keep it in cold storage, the ETFs accumulate. We see Microsoft thinking about potentially adding Bitcoin as well in their treasury. And with BlackRock's ETF, these things are if you told me a few years ago, I just wouldn't believe that we would come this far in 2024. It's absolutely it just seems like a mirage almost. It's hard to believe. And interest in Bitcoin is not as high as it was in 2021. People don't really care. Someone who bought Bitcoin in 2021 who's been holding may now just be breaking even, and they may be bored and think that Bitcoin has failed. But if you were buying during the whole bear market in 2022, Bitcoin has not failed. You've made a lot of money. We crashed to $15,500 per coin, almost 5xing to almost $75,000. And I think there will be FOMO and attention coming back into the space when Bitcoin makes its next leg up, maybe reaching 80, 90, eventually that six-figure mark. This has been part one of my series, Why is Bitcoin Valuable? and stay tuned for episode 2. Thank you.